dental school, you're responsible for every aspect of the patient experience, from scheduling the appointment, to bringing the patient back, to completing the treatment, to dismissing the patient, and finally documenting the notes. In actual clinical practice, there is simply not enough time for you to complete all of those steps. Therefore, you need to become a master delegator. To that end, I've created a 9-step protocol to become a master delegator. So the first thing you need to do in order to understand delegation is understand the legal requirements. In a high-functioning dental practice, the dentist is doing what is legally required for the dentist to do. That means doing the surgeries, doing the exams, reviewing the radiographs. That means that you are not making the radiographs. You are not doing all these little nuanced things. That's why we have assistants. So you need to learn the legal requirements of what you are required to complete so that you know the things that you should do and the things that you can delegate. Anything that can be delegated should be delegated. The next step is to assess your staff's level of competency. You can't be delegating skills to an associate or an assistant if they cannot physically perform the task that you're asking them to do. So you need to assess their basic level of competency. I think the best example of this is making a temporary crown with your dental assistants. That's not something you should do. That's something your assistant should be doing for you. Now, somebody that's never made a temporary crown, as you might remember in dental school, it's pretty challenging. So you need to assess their competencies. Next, you need to establish clear lines of communication. You need to give clear tasks. You need to clearly define the goals at hand. That's the only way that you can facilitate successful treatments. The next thing is to provide ongoing training. Going back to the temporary crown example, you might have to show them how to make a crown and then let them make 2 or 3 and then hop back in the chair and show them how to make one again. Hey, now if you rotate the line angle here, that'll help this, or blah, blah, blah. But you need to ensure that you're training them appropriately, and training doesn't stop right away. It's all throughout their career. Now, at this point, you should know what can be delegated and who it can be delegated to. Now you need to make sure that you're delegating appropriately. Now, if you know Susie makes great crowns, but Jimmy's great at bringing patients back and making their radiographs, then you should make sure Jimmy brings patients back and does radiographs while Susie makes your temporary crowns. If you mix up their roles, they're not going to do you a good job for you, and you're not going to have a good day. Once you've delegated a task, you need to make sure that you monitor it effectively. Again, going back to our temporary crown example, if you pass off the temporary crown to Susie and 30 minutes goes by and the patient hasn't been dismissed, you should probably go in and check and see what's going on. It might be time for you to either provide some training or for you to slide into the chair and take over. Now, all of this is to foster a collaborative team effort. If Susie knows that she's part of the team because she makes crowns, and Jimmy knows he's part of the team because he's the one that welcomes all the new patients, they each know their roles. They're clearly defined, and they can feel like they're part of the functioning team. So this fosters a team environment where everyone knows what they should be doing, and they get to enjoy those activities. Now, the next thing seems obvious, but you should leverage any artificial intelligence or digital tools, anything you can do that makes everybody's life easier. Those levels of delegation should obviously be completed. And the final aspect is to always continue to evaluate the effectiveness of your delegation. If you realize over time that Susie is no longer interested in making temporary crowns, but your new assistant Sarah does, then maybe it's time to redelegate those tasks to other people. Now, you might have to do some new training and restart down the pathway, but in order to delegate effectively, we need to know what must be done by us and what can be delegated. We need to clearly define those roles and responsibilities to our assistants and hygienists, and we need to constantly evaluate them for their effectiveness. If you follow this 9-step protocol, you soon will be delegating like a master. Let me know how you delegate, and if you have any questions, and as always, stay drilling, my friends.